We're going to start Revelation chapter 17 and 18. We finished chapter 16, but I wanted to go back to make a point here. And we know that Revelation chapter 16 is where God pours out his full wrath in the 7 vials of wrath, okay? But after he pours out the 7th one, later we read in verse 19, and the great city was divided into 3 parts. The cities of the nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And this almost seems to imply that the wrath of God is now going to be poured out upon Babylon. But remember, look at the point that we're at right here in chapter 16. The Armageddon has happened. That's it. God's full wrath has been poured out. When God poured out the 7th, or the 7th angel poured out the 7th vial into the air. Okay, and we heard from the temple, from heaven, from the throne, saying, it is done. It was done. So God's not going to go and now judge Babylon after he's already destroyed, essentially, the Antichrist and the false prophet and their military that was gathered in Armageddon. So what is happening here is that God's preparing us to talk in more detail about what happened to Babylon, which happened at the middle of the Great Tribulation. And by the way, Babylon was destroyed and will be destroyed by the Antichrist at the middle of the 7-year Great Tribulation. Because when we look back to chapter 14, we saw that after the 144,000 were taken to heaven, then God sends an angel that preaches the gospel to everyone on earth, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, right? But then the angel after that, second angel says, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. So it's like this angel's proclaiming to the earth that Babylon has been destroyed because God judged her. And so with that, we'll go back to chapter 17 and we'll see that what is being shown in chapter 17 and 18 is really of something that happened at the middle of the Great Tribulation. It's kind of going backwards, but God's going to explain in more detail who this woman is, which I believe to be the United States of America. Verse 1, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me. See, this would imply that as if that angel is now poured out his vial, right? But now there's coming a judgment upon Babylon. Well, I thought the Battle of Armageddon was the last, the part where God destroys the militaries of the Antichrist, and God says it is done. So what's happening here? Well, it's like if John's still seeing visions all throughout. So he's going to see what happened to that woman, or Babylon, and talk with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show you unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. So John is going to be shown, come hither, or shown to thee, he's going to be shown the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Verse 2, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. So this indicates that this nation was involved with many other nations committing fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So she's caused other nations to sin. Verse 3, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now pay attention to this, because a lot of people get very confused. But what we're seeing here is that John sees a woman, okay, sitting upon a scarlet-colored beast. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that the woman is the beast. No. The woman sits on top of the scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. So here's an image of what's essentially John is seeing. There's the woman, and she's riding on a very dangerous beast. So try to imagine that. If you saw a woman, just a woman, sitting on a beast like this, I would fear for her life, because you would think that this thing is going to just destroy her. What would be the chances of her even surviving an attack from this beast? Not only that, she's riding the beast, and beasts do not like to be ridden on, especially if they're dangerous and wild. So that's the image that we should have. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. So she's all nicely dressed and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand. But she has a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. So she's very sinful. Verse 5. And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. So here she is with her cup, and there's the name on her forehead, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and of the abominations of the earth. Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. She is drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And this has to do with the fact that they are guilty. She is guilty of the blood of any servant of the Lord and all servants of the Lord that were killed for their faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. That's just the way it is. If you kill one Christian, you are guilty of killing all the Christians that have ever died, even going back to Abel. Okay? That's just the way the Lord sees it. And I will explain this in more detail as we go along on this chapter. Let's continue to verse 7. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore this thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which has 7 heads and 10 horns. And with this, we end the first part of Revelation chapter 17. We'll continue with verse 8. God bless you.